Hi guys and girls, I'm Obsidian Ant and this is Elite Dangerous. Now I haven't yet had a chance to get out further into the galaxy. I was going to head toward the core of the galaxy and I'm not there yet. I'm still here at VO Dock. So what I'm going to do is explore a little bit around the local region, and with that in mind I have sold two of my cargo racks and replaced them with a fuel scoop and a detailed surface scanner. I've already got the advanced surface scanner, so that means we can get on and have a look around the area here. Now I'm at LHS 142 and that I think is already fully explored. I've already got all the information for that. It's a bunch of icy planets up here. It's actually a very nice looking system. You may remember that from the previous episode. I'll give you a quick look at what it looks like when I undock here. So I'm here at VO Dock. Another system that's also station that's already very close is Noriga Port. So that's also very close to the binary stars we got here. There's a gas giant as well, but that isn't the system we're going to take a look at. We're going to look at one of them that I don't actually have any data for. So that could perhaps be G27472 here, which is very nearby. This one we do have data for. What about OT? Very simple name. Actually, that sounds quite like an area I want to go to. Simpler the better, so perhaps that will be our destination for now. So let's get out there and have a look, and hopefully we get to see a rather decent sunset out here. Sometimes you can see the sun blazing through the hatchway up there, and other times like today you can't, but not to worry. We'll see what we can see when we get out there. And no crashing this time. Nearly trashed my ship right at the exitway, didn't I, previously? But of course we weren't paying that much attention. I was more interested in getting out at full throttle for some reason. And there is our planet that the station is orbiting. There is its moon, or its twin planet, which is orbiting each other, and there is another station orbiting there, as you previously saw. And here are the binary suns right behind the station itself, which of course cast the station into shadow. A lovely looking area, one of the best inhabited systems I've so far visited. There are a few stations elsewhere that are much closer to the suns than this, and they also look good. Maybe we can find one of those at a slightly later date, but for now we're off to OT, or OT, once we're out of Maslock range, and surprisingly we're already out of Maslock range. Off we go. So as you know, my ship can jump around about 30 light years. I've got the max jump drive on here, which means exploration is that much easier. I've no idea what we're going to find when we get here. It's quite possible that I'm going to jump out of hyperspace into a system that only has a sun and no other planets, which wouldn't be all that interesting to see, would it? We don't need to bother with refueling just yet, so I'm going to trigger the advanced discovery scanner straight away, but it's not in a fire group, so I can't do that. Well, it is in a fire group, but it's not enabled, but now it is. So let's see. There we go, one object. So what did I say? OT seems to be a relatively uninteresting area, and they don't even orbit each other that closely. So where else are we going to go? We'll probably end up back where I said initially. which was G something, wasn't it? Just up there. Should we go up a little bit? Perhaps we should go straight there. Always go with your first instinct, a weak signal source. Probably a parade or something like that. Or maybe a lone ship on its own. But we're never going to know because we are heading to G27472. A little bit of warp effects here as we fly toward our destination, which I'm hoping is going to have something more than just a star or binary star. Well, it did have more than just a lone star, didn't it? It was a binary star. Right, 10 astronomical objects. Let's see what we got. Now, some of these may well be asteroid rings, but no, they're not. They're all very uninteresting planets, all discovered by Dewey Hughes. Now, that's one of the things, isn't it, with the Advanced Discovery Scanner. It automatically tells you that who these are discovered by. Now, obviously, my computer doesn't know, my ship's computer doesn't know anything about these planets. Hence the reason for me need to discover them with my discovery scanner in the first place. So it does beg the question, doesn't it, that when I do discover them, how does my ship's computer know who they were first discovered by when my ship's computer doesn't even know what the planets are? It would be much better that this tag was only updated when I sold this discovery information at Universal Cartographics, but that's not how it works. A little bit of a shame, but that's how it is. Now, of course, all of these are going to be discovered by someone at some point, aren't they? Let's drop down a little bit and see what we got here. Can I make that in a single jump? Probably not. I'm limited to 29.63 light years per jump, so Hattie might be, oh, Hattie's only 16 light years. What have we got? HDS 23. HDS 123. Let's go there then. It is going to be a two jump journey. But that's fine. Now, I've decided to take a slightly different approach to the videos this time. I want to give you a slight feel for how I normally go about exploring. Quite often I just show you the highlights, and this time it's going to be a little bit of an extended journey, as it is quite a process, exploration. And of course I normally do this way out there in the depths of space and not near civilized space, so most planets I come across are completely undiscovered by anyone else other than me, and that's obviously not going to be the case here. HGS 123 is the next destination. We've discovered 2 new objects. Let's have a quick look what's here, and it's just a bunch of stars, so let's get going. Stars are obviously at a fair distance over there, 2,600 light seconds away, so it can be quite a process really trying to find something interesting to look at. It means you can be jumping around a hell of a lot, but that does mean that the discoveries, when you find them, are that much better for it. It wouldn't be much of a discovery, would it, if what you found could be found anywhere else, if all the systems look the same. Fuel scooping. I'm going to get a little bit of fuel here, and we found 25 objects. I'm pretty sure most of these are going to be discovered already by someone else, but I haven't seen them. Hopefully there's something more than just white planets. Now these ones here, you know immediately, pretty much anyway, yep, are going to be asteroid belts, and you can see that's what they are. I've got a green contact on my radar there, so that's a allied ship, although I don't remember allying myself with these guys. It's the first time I've been in this system as far as I'm aware, but who knows. Right, so we've got here a bunch of gas giants with rings, and now I do like to look at gas giants, especially ones that are close to the sun, because you get all of the effects of the sun through the rings here. And I'm going to take a look at this one here. The semi-major axis is 0 astronomical units, which would suggest these are very close to the star. Although I can't quite believe that, I'm probably reading that incorrectly for some reason. So we're going to fly right the way up and have a look at what Commander Fleshy has already seen. Let's head upwards a little bit. I head upwards away from the solar plane so that I can then look down at it and have a look, because that might not necessarily be the closest planet. We're already 100 and nearly 200 light seconds away from it. That should be enough to give us a little bit of an idea of where the closest orbit ring is, closest orbit line. And they are, of course, much further away than 1 AU. And they do have a resource extraction sites already there, but no stations here, which suggests that these things may have quite good resources in them. So I'll have a look at them just for the purposes of that at the moment. Maybe they're a good place to mine. These look like they're orbiting each other. Resource extraction site. What have we got? Obviously quite a small planet, because the detailed scanner's not scanning it yet, and the larger planets it will scan from a long way away. What have we got? What have we got? Anything interesting or of value? Come on. There we go. I was targeting the wrong thing there. We need to target the planet, not the extraction site itself. And the surface scanner is doing its job there. Right, we're looking at number 4 already, so that is probably way out here, and it is. And we've got metal rich rings, but they're depleted reserves, so no use for mining. It does beg the question, doesn't it, where planet 1 was. We'll take a quick look before moving onwards. Where's that sun? There's a sun. So nothing immediately close to the sun. I'm going to move on already, I think. There's nothing that's going to be that interesting here. Pemawa. Why not? Pemawa, here we come. Pemiwa? Pemawa? Either way, I'm sure. So, as I said, slightly different format to this video to usual. Let me know if it's not your thing, because either way, I'm not going to make this a permanent fixture. This isn't going to be the permanent way I do these videos. We will, of course, get back to the regular broadcasting of our exploration into deep space soon, but for now, it's always nice to do something a little different. What are we going to have? 28 planets here. 28 objects. First discovered by Carl Sax. Okay, back to the galaxy map. What do we got over here? ICZ, or ICZ, as I would say in my own country. ICZ CQY C18. So quite a bit of jumping back and forward, and I'm sure this is what really adds to the wear and tear of my ship. You can see, oh, my paint job is pure black in the depth of hyperspace, to be expected, I guess. Very few light sources out here. Come on then, what have we got? 5 objects, and they are merely asteroids. Quivera, which we've already got details for that one. I don't mind actually going to look for something that has already been discovered, if there's something interesting to look at. I'm going to take a bit of a longer jump this time. City, 22 light years away. And there's some of the nebulas I visited back in my early days of exploration. Bernard's Loop over to the right there, which is probably the best collection of nebulas in the game. A place I highly recommend you visit if you haven't done so yet. You can actually get out there in a Sidewinder with a good jump drive. I did it half the journey in a Sidewinder and the rest in an Eagle, I think, if you remember. Although some of it I know also had a Cobra in. No, it was my mistake. It was the Pleiades I went to in an Eagle, and Bernard's Loop I went to in a Cobra. But you can get out there with a ship that's got relatively low jump range, and you're about to make it out there with a hauler, as long as it's got a good jump drive, and definitely with a adder, no problem at all. No objects discovered. What a shame. We'll probably jump into a signal source in a minute just to make things a little bit more interesting. What about down here? HIP 9141. What have you got? What do you hold for us? Now, as you're probably starting to gather, when I'm out on my deep space explorations, you can do this for a very, very, very long time before you actually find anything interesting. And of course, out in deep space you do have other things to see. You can be in a nebula, and you can be in a cluster of stars where the stars are actually very close together, sometimes much closer than 1 light year, and these things alone make them standout areas. Here in civilized space things are a lot different. We've got much more of your bog standard systems here, so no new astronomical objects discovered. I probably weren't paying close enough attention there, and that this area's already one of the more populated ones. One of them with stations, of course. Well, this really doesn't seem to be going anywhere fast, so I'm going to make a cut here and skip to somewhere where I change my mind about how I'm going to approach the next few episodes. Now, the thing is that exploring locally around civilized space can be very hit and miss, and as you've seen, the reason for that is because so much of it is already explored, so many of it is already inhabited, and also because, to be perfectly frank, the surrounding areas have very little of interest to see unless you come across the systems which are few and far between, like where I started out here back at VO Dock. And let's go back there. I've travelled a surprising 149 light years there. Don't want to go there on an economic journey, you want to go there on a fast journey. LHS 142. Now I'm going to go back there. If I can even select it, I'm going to go back there, and then we're going to look at somewhere a little bit interesting. I think we're going to try and find somewhere in the galactic core to head towards. And the reason I want to go back to VO Dock is because I know they've got a reasonable amount of equipment, and I am going to, let's see, I'm going to outfit my ship again for, unless I've got something here, of course, which I'll be surprised, but you never know, I guess it's possible. I'm going to outfit my ship for, no, they haven't got an outfitting thing, not to worry. I'm going to outfit my ship for exploration again. Now, I did select a VO Dock there, but I think it's going to be better to just head straight to the Founders World. They're going to have all the equipment there. It's pretty close by, it's only about 200 light years, so only another 100 light years beyond where VO Dock is, and that means I can equip my ship a little bit cheaper, and I can do it without all the running around and all the messing around. So here we are. Let's get in there and hopefully find what we need. It's another asp I just saw then. Landing pad 7 then. Which is right down there. Nice and easy. Fortunately, I haven't been given one of the pads that's right below the docking hatchway for a long time. Those are always a little bit of a nuisance to land on, as when you come through the entrance you can't see where they are. So basically we want to remove everything that unnecessarily increases our jump range. But I've been thinking to see if there is a larger fuel tank, because the last time the size of this fuel tank nearly caused me a few problems, as I got down quite low on the fuel, as I went many jumps without being able to find a sun that I could refuel from. So while I'm remembering and thinking of it, let's have a quick look at the fuel tank. Is there a better one? No, I've got the best one. It's a shame, isn't it? I'd like a 64 capacity one if they did it. But there we go. That's what we're going to have to go with, I guess. So, light alloy bulkheads. Can we do anything with them? Nothing that increases our jump range. Power plant in descending class order. That leaves our jump range the same. That decreases slightly the same, and that increases us 0.1 light year. So with the weapons, that's a 1 light year increase in total, nearly. So we've got to keep that in mind. Thrusters are pretty much irrelevant in terms of exploration, and they're the best ones I've got for exploration. Frameshift drive obviously is fine what I've got. And now look at that. A class D, a D-rated class 4 life support drive gives me 0.3 light year increase. So I'm going to go for that, but of course it does decrease my oxygen capacity down, but hopefully I won't need that. If I'm 10,000 light years away, and there's really not much difference between having 7 minutes or 10 minutes worth of oxygen. None of them are going to help me. Power distributor. And again, look at the difference there in jump range. I'd love to keep the B-rated jump drive, but all of this adds up, so I'm going to have to go with the D-rated one. I think that's a significant jump, isn't it? As long as that's the same class. Yeah, that's the same class. Sensors are already D-rated, but I will just double check that. That's the best we can have. So the fuel tank we know we can't change, and here we want a shield, but before I can do that I've got to remove the other shield. Obviously a larger shield means a reduced jump range, but we'll see what we can get away with on that. Class descending. Right, class 6. And actually, field automated repair unit. Shield generator. C6. It's actually quite a jump, isn't it? In my jump range. Yes. I'll go for that, I think. Unless there's a D-rated one. 29.21. That's a lot better, isn't it? As opposed to 27. Good. Okay, 29.21 for the jump range there. Fuel scoop. Let's see what else we got there. I'll leave it sorted in that order. Fuel scoop. Isn't that what I've already got? I've got a B-rated one, but that doesn't affect my jump range at all. Fuel scoop, no, that doesn't affect the jump range either. Let's sort them by module type. It's going to be a bit easier to find what I want, isn't it? Be nice to be able to filter by two levels, two-level filtration. Oh, look at that, 8 million. Let's stick with what I've got, which is already 2 million. Pretty expensive. Cargo rack, we don't want them. We don't want that one. Of course, we do want the scanners. So I'm up to 30.3 light years, but there's a couple of things I still want to fit, or at least one thing I want to fit, which is a field repair unit. I'm going to try and get the best one of them I can have, maybe two of them, but they don't. Depends if they tell you how many units they actually repair, doesn't it? AFM repair capacity 112. Well, for the price difference, I'm going to go for 2 Bs, I think, considering they don't have any impact on the jump range, which is nice. So we go for 2 of them. Just make sure I'm reading that right. 98,000, isn't it? Yep. Go for 2 of them then. Another one there. You know, maybe I'll have 3 of them. I've got the money, I've got the space, and it doesn't actually impact on my jump range, so I think 3 is fine, isn't it? One more. So I've got to make sure I can cover the rebuy cost of this ship, of course, and at least allow myself a 1 million or so left over after a rebuy, because you never know what happens, and I would need that money to trade my stuff back up again. So I'm down to 3 million now. That's still better than what I left with last time. Last time I went out with 1.5 million. I'm going to keep my library as it is. So the question is, do I want to sell these weapons? You know what? I'm going to sell them. I don't see what purpose they're going to serve me out there. I didn't use them once last time, and this will give me a slightly better jump range than I had previously. They don't have any purpose other than to weigh me down. The main threat is the first few hundred light years as you leave civilized space. Once you're about 500 light years outside of civilized space, you don't actually come across any enemies at all. You're out there on your own. So weapons are a bit pointless, although they can be handy when you return from deep space. Is that it? No, I've got one more. So as you can see, that's increased my jump range quite a bit, although I'm going to eat into it a little bit by buying a 4th heatsink launcher. Where is it? They're normally price ascending, normally right at the top. Heatsink launcher. That puts us down to 31.54. Where are we at the moment? 31.65. Well, that 0.1 of a light year is worth it to me. So of course, without these I could get nearly another half a light year out of my ship. But I think that's it. That's about the best I can do. Why did I not downgrade the power plant? Perhaps I skipped over that and forgot. Class descending. Derated. Class 5. Again, 0.1 light year. But this does give me the additional boost to the thrusters, doesn't it? Allows me to keep boosting a little bit quicker, but I don't know. I don't think I need that. I'm going to go for the slightly increased jump range. There we go. So that is literally the best I can do. That's my ideal setup as things stand for now for exploration, and that leaves me 3.5 million. Let's put myself into a fire group. Fire group, of course, is the advanced discovery scanner, the heat sink launchers there. Only thing I don't know is if these, what have I done? I disabled it. You know, look at my power usage. Didn't even notice that. What can I turn off? I only need one of these on at any time. They take a significant amount of power, don't they? That and the cargo hatch, which I don't need out there. Sensors and the heatsink launchers. One of 3. I'm going to turn 2 of them off. Hopefully I don't forget I've done that. And the fire group. Don't want anything in there. And let's make sure we're fully armed. We're fully armed and we're fully refueled. And repairs. Integrity. It's now at 100% of my paintwork. It's also fully repaired. Let's see what that looks like when I come back. It probably will look nothing like what we're about to see here. And I'm stuck between the pipes there. How do we get down? I'm using my joystick at the moment and it's a little bit flimsy and flunky when it comes to controlling the camera, as you can see. But as you can see, the paintwork's alright. I was hoping to get a good view of the ship before I left, but never mind. The next thing then, the final task for this episode is to pick a destination. So obviously it's going to be into the centre of the galaxy. But what I want to know is there a nebula around there that we can head towards? A nebula in this, between us and there. And there is a number of them. So that nebula looks quite interesting. What else have we got? This one. What's that? What is it? Is it a small one or a large one? And it's actually further away than I thought. The Lagoon Nebula. Perhaps I'll go there instead, as I recognise the name there. And the Omega Nebula, or Omega as some would say. The Omega Nebula. The Lagoon Nebula even. Is there any stars in here though, is the question. Oh, I'm not even anywhere near it in terms of my camera's orientation. Looks like there's plenty of stars in there in the Lagoon Nebula. So that then is my destination as I work my way toward the galactic centre. How far is it? I'm sure you're all itching to know. I really want to know too. 4,500 light years. That's going to be an extensive trip, isn't it? And then of course much further I'll go to the Trifid Nebula after that, I think, and work my way toward the core. So there we have it, my fully outfitted exploration ship and my next destination. As always, thanks for watching. I'll catch you guys and girls next time. This has been Obsidian Ant, signing off.